All right, guys, back here on the Sweats, we're talking sticky puck. And would you look at this over in the Metro? Rangers winning on Tuesday night and leapfrogging Pittsburgh. I believe that's their second win against the Penguins in like a week span. And AJ Scholz and RotoWire's Paul Bruno. AJ, why did your boys fail to score 11 goals in back-to-back games?
I mean, I wish. Yeah, look, first off, I mean, step in the right direction. They didn't get embarrassed. 3-2, perfectly acceptable loss compared to the previous night that was 5-1. Look, honestly, the biggest thing here was the turnovers. The Rangers are such a fast team that if you commit a turnover, you're not going to be able to catch them as they're headed the other way. And you're basically going to play into their strengths. And the Penguins' numbers on turnovers were really, really bad. The Rangers capitalized on it. So if you're going to beat them, whether you're the Penguins or anybody else, you definitely need to clean up that aspect of your game. And as far as Pittsburgh goes, you know, for years, they've kind of just outskilled their opponents, right? They haven't had to be big, maybe fast, but yeah, they've outskilled the other team. And this is a club that is built around skill and also manages to have size. I mean, this is a really good, fast, young team, and they're going to be hard to beat, just straight up. So, yeah. If Pittsburgh can clean it up, maybe they have a chance. But after it looks right now, that first playoff series might just be 4 games, man. Yeah. I'm not looking forward to it right now.
Yeah, likely a first-round Stanley Cup playoff matchup. It will be close, Paul. Which side would you back if that was to be a meeting in the first round?
I'm backing the Penguins. I don't know why AJ's waving the white flag. That was a low-event hockey game, first of all, and it could have been a coin flip. It was a 1-goal decision. AJ, you're talking like they got shelled last night. They absolutely didn't. And I would still take their big guns over the Rangers in tried and tested fashion. They're going to deliver. Don't you worry. But you guys are burying the lead again. The Leafs played Boston last night, and they handled it. Okay? So let's talk about that for a second. Taylor Hall should be suspended as well. That was a punch in the side of the head, reminiscent of the Steve Moore incident with Todd Bertuzzi. And nobody's talking about that at all. In fact, he got a $5,000 fine. That's garbage, okay? So let's talk about that for a sec. The Bruins got embarrassed right in their own barn, and that was the best response they had. That's garbage.
What about the boarding before that?
Boarding? The guy got up right away. He wasn't even hurt. He was up on his feet, ready to take a shot at the guy, a defenseless Boston player. Yep. That is garbage.
All right. Hall was fined $5,000 this morning.
Big whoop.
I don't know, $5,000 is a lot of money.
For me and you.
For us, man. For us.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Not for Taylor Hall.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I know that's y'all's appearance fee like every day here on the show. Like, you could easily afford that. Let's turn our attention to tonight here, guys. Opening face-off here. So let's choose between some of the DFS plays. We'll see if we get some sports betting mixed in there. Hook me up with your favorite DFS play at center, Paul.
You know what? Big game in Edmonton against Los Angeles tonight. I look for Draisaitl to show up in a big way, saving $800 off McDavid. He's actually outscoring him in terms of goals, and that's where the points are at in DK. So I take Draisaitl out of those two guys. But if you want to save some money at center, go to Mark Scheifele. He's on a tear with 5 goals, 13 points in his last 10 games. Traveling to Buffalo tonight, that's a soft touch of late, unless they play the Maple Leafs, then they play like Tigers. So he'll cost $6,500. Another cheap but solid option in the middle is Thomas Hertl, who has 4 goals and 12 points, and with 28 shots on goal, his last 10 starts, he gets the not too intimidating Arizona Coyotes tonight.
All right, who are you looking at, AJ?
Well, I mean, I know it's the second night of a back-to-back, but honestly, Detroit playing, or rather the Rangers playing Detroit, I think is a good opportunity to stack some Rangers here. I understand maybe it's somewhat of a trap game. You just had a big win over Pittsburgh. You're now second in the division, and you have to play a lower competition team in Detroit. But I think it's a great opportunity. Paul, I think you're underselling how good the Rangers are as a team here. So I'll stick with that stack and start with Mika Zibanejad coming in at $6,900 here. 4 goals, 7 assists, 23 shots in his last 10 games. For their part, the Wings are allowing 33.4 shots per game. That's 6th most in the league. So at minimum, these Rangers should have decent floors across the board. But I think you take a look at that first line, and especially Zibanejad right there in the middle.
I mean, it does feel like they have the impact players at the right positions, and they're good, and especially after you consider who they acquired at the trade deadline there, too. So where do you want to go at wing, AJ?
Well, I'm going to go right back there.
Yeah.
You mentioned the trade deadline acquisition, Frank Vatrano. He's got 5 goals in 7 games with the Rangers here. He comes in at a bare minimum price tag. So I really think you stick with him in the spot there and then double down and go with Chris Kreider. I recommended him yesterday at 6,100, picked up a goal. He's jumped up to 7,000, so that's a little bit pricier. But I think it's worth it. You go full first line stack. The benefit of Vatrano there is, he's 2,800, so makes that line affordable to get them all in there, and a great opportunity here.
Paul, who's your guy on the wing?
I'm going to start with Chris Kreider, the 5th most expensive winger at $7,000. Enjoying a career best season, we all know that. And he's on fire of late, 7 goals in his last 10 games played. He gets the best matchup against a very bad Detroit team, so that's why I'm focused there. But if you want to save a little money, you go to Nikolai Ehlers, once again a force for the Jets. He faces Buffalo tonight, potting 5 goals in his last 10 games. Also a very good shooter in terms of the volume. He's got 40 shots on goal in his last 10. And then David Perron as well, maybe the hottest of all the wingers in action tonight, got 11 goals and 15 points on 30 shots. He's priced cheaper than both of these guys.
But remember, Paul, the other day, super high on all those Blackhawks players, and we saw what Buffalo ended up doing. So you got to proceed with caution there. AJ, are we going to make it 4 shows in a row where you're going to pay up on the blue line?
It depends how you want to define pay up, but no, I'm not going to the very top of the price range. So look, on the year, the Arizona Coyotes have allowed a league high 35.5 shots per game, and their PK is sitting at just 73.5%. And all that points to targeting the Sharks tonight. For me, I think you look at Erik Karlsson for 5,700. See, I'm not even taking Brent Burns. So I'm not going the most expensive Shark defenseman here. He's not going to break the bank, obviously, compared to the top of that price range. Solid matchup, averaging 2.1 shots per game in 9 contests back from injury. There haven't been a lot of opportunities to use the Sharks this year, but I think going up against Arizona, this is a good spot to be in. And I like Karlsson at under 6K. They're doubling down. Both those guys, Burns and Karlsson, are on the number 1 power play, so you get that side of it. But look, it should be a shot-heavy game tonight, and it'll come from the point, absolutely.
Yeah, speaking of some heavy power play love, Paul, Adam Fox there for the Rangers, right there at the top.
Exactly. You're reading my notes there, Emerson, because I love this matchup. I don't normally pay up, but he's playing against the lowly Detroit Red Wings, and he's the hottest scorer among the top-end defensemen. So that makes good sense to spend the $6,400 tonight. If you feel a little bit antsy about that, there are a couple of cheaper options, though, that I'll focus on as well. Tyson Barrie, costing only $4,400, remains the Oilers' PP quarterback. That's a great assignment as long as they're cooking the way they are right now. He's got 9 points in his last 10 games. And then Josh Morris, he's assumed the same role recently in Winnipeg, and they're on fire too. He's got 32 shots on goal in his last 10 games, along with his 4 goals, and that'll cost $4,800 tonight. So a couple of cheaper options than Fox, but boy, he's got a great matchup.